You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
In Louisiana, a jailer and an inmate are arrested after a fight in the jail. In Texas, the search for missing student Caleb Harris comes to an end as his remains are identified, and a shooting in Philly leaves 3 dead and 6 injured. These stories and more coming at you today, Wednesday, July 24th, on Real Life Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton.
Hump Day.
Hump Day, middle of the week.
Middle of the week.
Middle of the week in the end of June.
That's it.
I mean, July.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Look, I'm lucky I know the year that it is, much less the months and day. And people always ask me something about the day and the date, and I look at them like they got 3 heads. Because shit, I can't keep track of that.
Last Friday, I did my early morning post, and I said, "Happy Thursday, lifers." I'm thinking, "Look, today's Friday," and I had to go back and edit it. I said, meant Friday.
Yeah, we did that on purpose.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Get a little laugh this morning.
Right. Anyway, let's, without further ado, let's get down to some true crime time for Wednesday.
Well, we're going to start out in Louisiana, and a former jail employee and an inmate are facing charges after they allegedly fought each other at the Tangipahoa Parish jail.
They'll be having all kinds of trouble over there.
Yeah, well, according to the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office, a corrections officer identified as Jaden Lamarck, who is 20, and an inmate identified as Sanchez Harold, who is 36, were arrested on Friday, July 19th from charges stemming from an incident that took place on Thursday, July 4th. Wow. Well, Independence Day fight. Right. Officials said Lamarck and Harold got into an argument through closed cell doors, and Harold threw an unidentified liquid at Lamarck. Unidentified. Yeah, I'll give you a guess on that.
Piss or jism, yeah.
Yeah, so Lamarck then called for the closed cell to be opened. Pop it. And then proceeded to physically hit Harold multiple times. Harold was taken to the medical office and assessed for injuries, and the TPSO reports that Lamarck, who had been a corrections employee since December of 2023, was immediately written up and placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. Harold, who had been in jail since July 3rd, so only 1 day before this happened.
I told you about duty on the 4th.
Yeah. On fugitive warrants out of other jurisdictions, remained in custody at the jail during the investigation. After the investigation, officials said Lamarck was terminated from his position and arrested, while Harold was rebooked in connection with the incident. Lamarck was booked on 1 count of simple battery and malfeasance. Harold was booked on 1 count of battery of a correctional employee. As I've said since before I became sheriff 19 days ago, I have a new set of standards for this agency and the men and women who represent it. This behavior is far from those standards and will not be tolerated. That from Sheriff Gerald Stricker.
So I didn't know they got so Daniel Everett's in there anymore. Huh? About that.
Gerald Stricker. I stand with every person in this agency as long as they're doing their part to stand with each other to preserve the credibility and the work we do and the service we provide the public who entrust us with their safety. So what do you think about that?
I think it's
man throws unidentified liquid on you.
I think he got his ass in the crack.
I don't know that he didn't deserve that.
Well, what should have happened technically, because I had shit thrown on me before, literally, is you'd be like, oh, okay, motherfucker, you got me, but I'm coming back. And then you go take your time, you write them up, you come back down there, they'll write up in the cell.
Yeah.
You might have put a little extra something in there to really piss them off, and then get them all riled up. Then you get your cell entry team because you got to go ahead and take him out and put him in admin seg, so you know it's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he could have got his licks in then, but whatever. Shouldn't happen. But anyway, you know, it does.
I think what he threw on him plays a role in this, and I want to know.
Yeah, right. I guess Daniel's gone after those inmates escaped and nobody knew. And man, they were having so many problems. And I just remember when he was a rookie sheriff, I'm talking about Daniel Everts, and I was on the SWAT team. They didn't have a SWAT team, and they had a triple homicide. I mean, bro, he had been in the office like a week, and we went out at 3 o'clock in the morning. And got all the intel. It was probably about four or five before we hit the houses, 3 different houses at one time. Ooh. And Daniel Everts was with us. The sheriff was with us. But shit happens. I mean, over time.
Yeah, and I don't know if he just didn't run or if he just lost that election. I don't know what the story is.
I don't either.
There is a new sheriff in town, literally.
New sheriff in town. Stricker, I don't think I know him. So, well, you know, let's go out to the city of brotherly love, where there was no love on July the 22nd. So, in fact, there was a mass shooting of 9 people in West Philadelphia early Sunday morning, and it resulted in 3 deaths. The shooting, possibly at a block party with more than 100 people, happened just after 2 a.m. in the 1200 block of North Alden Street. Some of the shooting victims were taken by police to the hospital, which means there were so many of them, the ambulances couldn't handle them, right? While others were driven away by neighbors. Preliminary information indicates an exchange of gunfire between multiple parties, resulting in shooting in a triple homicide. The Philadelphia police reported this. So those killed were a 23-year-old man, a 29-year-old man, and a 33-year-old man. This according to the police provided when they provided the victims list. They hadn't released their identities. Conditions of the injured range from stable to serious, and their ages are mid to late 20s, and one 30-year-old. Their identities also have not been released. Several shell casings of multiple calibers means many different guns, and one weapon were found at the scene. Whoever is responsible for the shooting is still on the loose, and it's possible it was obviously it was more than one gunman. Philadelphia police are asking for more information to call it in, blah blah blah. But that's just crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And multiple people whipping out guns, and the one thing I thought of, and that's not political, when I saw the shooting at the Trump rally, was I always say nothing clears a room like gunfire.
Right.
Nobody ran. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
and usually the after effects of that is more injuries because people are literally trampling people.
And I've worked that.
So it was a blessing that nobody did run in the end and stood their ground, so to speak.
Yeah, that's crazy. But city of brotherly love
wasn't too brotherly.
No love at that block party.
Right? Yeah, Rocky wouldn't like that at all.
No, he would not.
So
there you go.
You're seeing more and more of that too.
Prayers for those victims.
Lately. All right, well, we're going to go to Texas, and look, this story has been several months in the making, I guess, and it kind of a sad end, but a little bit of at least we know where Caleb Harris is now, and his family can deal with his remains and all of that goes along with it. But after a months-long search, the body of Caleb Harris has been found and identified. Forensic analyst with the University of North Texas Center for Human Identification, which y'all would be like we have at LSU. They have the FACES lab, right. So that would be the Texas version of that. They have determined the human remains found inside a 40-foot well last month are most likely that of Caleb Harris. Harris, a 21-year-old Texas A&M University Corpus Christi student, disappeared from his off-campus apartment. This was in the early morning hours of Monday, March 4th. Then on June 24th, city workers notified police after discovering human remains at a wastewater collection point near his apartment. A few days later, police had said the medical examiner's office was unable to identify the remains nor provide a manner or cause of death due to the advanced state of decomposition. But officers say they bore no signs of homicide, no obvious signs. The remains were sent then to the Texas A&M, North Texas, University for Human Identification for analysis with DNA along with samples from Harris's parents. According to the missing persons DNA report issued Thursday by Unitech, which is the acronym for that, the remains are approximately 2.46 trillion times more likely to be observed if the unidentified remains originated from a biological child of Caleb Harris's parents, rather than if the unidentified remains originated from an unrelated individual from the Caucasian population. So it pretty much says that's
no chance.
Yeah.
That's not.
The remains will now be returned to the county medical examiner's office where they will issue a final autopsy report. Within days of his disappearance, an investigative team formed with members of the Criminal Investigation Division and Organized Crime Unit, the FBI, the United States Marshals, and the Texas Rangers formed. And for weeks, they followed Harris's disappearance using everything from drones to dive teams, and obtained help from agencies like the Coast Guard and Texas Parks and Wildlife to find Harris. Student volunteers and countless civilians joined in the efforts as well. Investigators ultimately executed over 50 digital search warrants, submitted 82 preservation requests, and analyzed over 1,500 gigabytes of data during their months-long investigation. Police said the area of the well in which human remains were found was searched in the early days of the investigation.
Somebody just
Overlooked it.
Yeah. No,
But it looks like they,
all that, the digital search warrants and all that, and the preservation is to get people, the preservation orders to get people not to erase their cameras before the cops have time to look at them. They're like the doorbell cameras and stuff like that, and the digital search warrants would have been tied in that. But
and they mentioned drones in that, and man, drones are playing a huge part in criminal detection now.
I have got to give a shout out, and you're right. So you and I were supposed to go. I was supposed to go. You invited me to go, and I didn't get to go this weekend to Thomas Kane's party. Because one of the reasons is because my dogs ran out at about almost 7 o'clock, and they hit the river and did all that shit and whatever the fuck. But the problem with that is it had just happened that my dogs had ran away a couple, not even 10 days before.
Yeah.
And that night that they ran away, the first time, we put it on social media and everything. Of course, we have a huge following here. We got a lot of support, but one was from a Baton Rouge City cop who has a company called Southern Drone Recovery, LLC. And he came out, believe it or not, that night and spent like 3 or 4 hours flying his drone. And I even went inside at one point. I went out on my back porch because the river's in the backyard. It's on a big bluff, and I could see it across the river, the drone flying, and then it would turn on its spotlight every once in a while, I guess when he thought he saw something. Yeah. But he saw a bunch of deer and shit like that, but not our dogs. But thankfully, we got him back from another lifer who saw him, and then they ran again this weekend. But
they're playing a huge part in that, and actually they had a guy run from the police kind of close to my neighborhood, and the police staged at my neighborhood and launched like 4 drones. And look, let me tell you, those drones, y'all, are not easy to fly by any means. I bought a drone one time. You want to know how many times I flew it? once. You want to know why? Because it flew off and never came back. I was flying it, and I guess it got out of range, and that was it. That was all she wrote, baby.
Well, let me tell you this.
One day of fun.
This guy, and he does it in his off time. It's Southern Drone Recovery at gmail.com. The phone number is 337-205-1488. Bro, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention you a couple weeks ago, but he does everything from finding deer that have been shot to look at some of the videos to dogs. It's a big deal.
Wow.
And it's very, very good and very professional equipment.
Yeah. So you lose a dog, you lose a deer.
Yeah.
You lose a
Drone Recovery. They
love
came
one.
out and did
Give him a call.
For free. He was like, you know what? I was going to go train tonight anyway, and let me help. And he flew for hours, man, swapping out the battery every so often. All right, but in the last story, you talked about all those people searching, including the U.S. Marshals and the Texas Rangers and all that. Let me ask you a question. Let's say Jimmy gets in a little trouble and like murder trouble or something like that. You're going away for life, or maybe you're going to get the death penalty, but you've got like buku money, right? Like all your gold bars and shit.
Yeah.
You hold on to.
Yeah.
So you pack it all
Start
up.
unloading the collection.
And you hit the run. What would you do? How would you, I mean, because you got some pretty unique features. What would you do to hide or stay hidden or whatever?
I guess I put on a wig because, I'm bald headed, and that'd be the first thing about me people would spot because so I guess I'd throw on a, Van Halen wig or something like that, probably.
Right.
I'd probably rock a mullet.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, let me tell you what some people do.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
All right, and we're going across the pond somewhere here. This is a pretty cool story, I thought. So authorities in the Philippines have uncovered secret hospitals that offer plastic surgery for fugitives and scammers seeking to evade arrest. You can create an entirely new person out of those, said Winston John Cassio, a spokesman for the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission. Police raided one such hospital in the southern suburbs of Manila, leading to the discovery of a second hospital. Authorities shut down both hospitals, and an anonymous tip told authorities that an unlicensed hospital was operating in Pasay, located just 5 miles south of the capital of Manila. And an intelligence officer confirmed to the commission that the hospital existed, though it was initially framed as a standalone operation. Now, authorities arrested 2 Vietnamese doctors, 1 Chinese doctor, 1 Chinese pharmacist, and a Vietnamese nurse, finding that none of them possessed a license to practice medicine in the country. Then the hospitals expand. The country is increasingly distressing Philippines offshore gaming operator, or called Pogo, which officials have alleged has ties to China. Now, Pogo presents itself as an online casino that has actually served as a front for a scam center with hundreds of workers, including Chinese nationals. Now, the hospitals help Pogo center workers completely change their appearances, including hair, there you go, Jimmy, transplants, dentures, and skin whitening sessions if they needed to disappear and avoid authorities. The commission found tools for these operations and many more during a raid in May. And they had an operating table and other aesthetic alteration procedures such as dental implants, hair restoration, facial rejuvenation, and so on. And if you bring all these together, you can create an entirely new person out of these. And we know for a fact that these Pogo hospitals have no license and permits for the proper government regulatory agencies. And this guy Cassio, he stressed that these hospitals only help Pogo workers and not other type of criminals seeking to evade capture. I guess this is scammers. And he said that a good number of these hospitals may exist across the country. And it's a whole lot more goes into it. Well, let me just tell you this. Commission says it's going to continue investigating the full scope of these secret hospitals, including the number of locations and patients who also assume fake identities after leaving, right? It's pretty crazy. And it just goes on and on. I mean, forever this article does. But that's, if you got a bag full of gold, Jimmy, you might want to go. You can get
get a new nose,
implants, and hair, and nose, and get.
Wow,
you don't need a skin whitening, and maybe you get a skin darkening.
Almost something like Mission Impossible,
right? You go in there.
Style.
I mean, you're gonna. It can't take away your DNA and fingerprints, but
no.
But I guess if you're in the Philippines, you can get some work done and go to Mexico.
Yeah.
Or
wow.
Maybe America.
Well, and it's interesting that a lot of a lot of those places, it makes sense that they're overseas. They're not in the United States. It'd be hard to pull that off.
You ain't get away with it here.
Yeah.
I bet you can go to Tijuana and get it done there.
You can get anything done in Tijuana. Jeez.
Don't show.
Yeah. There you go. We're going to bring you to a story, an update actually in Nebraska that we did. I want to shout out Megan Novak, who provided us with this update. Now, we told you in a prior story, I think this was a couple months ago, about a lady who was in a nursing home. She passed away. She was brought to the place where you do your wakes and all that sort of thing, the funeral home. That's what I'm trying to say. And she was still alive.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that story?
Remember that? Hey, that shout out again to Roy and Kristen and Kristen.
Yes. They wouldn't make that mistake.
LAPetCrematory.com and LAFuneralServices.com.
Yes.
Roy never had that problem.
No, they wouldn't have had that problem. They wouldn't have made that error. But, obviously when we told you that story, there was an investigation that was, you can't just, this is a pretty major mistake, right? So a nursing home has been placed on probation by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services in connection to the death of a resident. Constance Glantz, 74, was mistakenly declared dead at the Mulberry at Waverly, a nursing home. This was in June. Glantz was taken to a funeral home in Lincoln when it was realized that she was still breathing. The 74-year-old who was in hospice care was declared dead just hours later at a Lincoln hospital. A state investigation into the facility in Waverly found that a registered nurse on duty failed to take Glantz's blood pressure after it was believed she had died. It blows my mind.
Crazy, bro.
That would be the first thing that you do outside of feeling for a pulse and that sort of thing. The nurse was suspended. The state also found a second case where a patient was not evaluated correctly. The state ultimately found that while the facility followed protocol for reporting a death, it failed to completely and accurately assess patients after they have a change in condition. The facility was placed on probation for 180 days starting July 9th. Wow. State inspectors visit nursing homes every year and after complaints especially. Nebraska Director Todd Studendike said that that's the way it should be. His advice for folks looking for a quality nursing home for themselves or a loved one. He said this story, it seems, is very scary. I would agree. But I think there's some good options out there. The Mulberry at Waverly is rated just 1 of 5 stars on Medicare.gov, much below average. It lists information on inspection history too, and the Mulberry has a 65% 12-month nurse turnover rate. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's it.
Over half of your nurses quit within a year of working there.
Bad shit.
Almost 2/3 of the staff, even outside of just nurses, had changed over the last year, he said, noting that he doesn't know if that played a role in the incident. And I think that it's disruptive to any facility to have that much turnover. I would agree with that. There's obviously some issues going on there, but the moral of that story is check out the ratings on these places when you're deciding on,
brings back a shit ton
that
of
hard
memories
decision
that I need. I'll do some on the original. I worked cases in nursing homes, bro. And then look, there's some great ones.
Yeah.
And even I would say some of the mediocre ones still have great people that work there, but they have some horrible people that work there, bro. I'm talking about bad shit. And you know what? I'm gonna save it for original Woody stories. I'll give you a little tidbit though. When Katrina happened, and everybody was coming out of New Orleans, and remember the government was giving out like $1,500 per person and shit, and plus grub subs and all that stuff. But it was right here in Denham, right down the road off of 4-H Club Road. We got a call, and I was a detective. We got a call about a lady who wanted to that she had rented a house, and it was full of adults, right? And obviously some of them were I don't know what what the politically correct term is. We'll say that some had
Challenges?
Yeah, challenges.
Okay.
All right. So I respond over that motherfucker, and there's a bunch of them sitting outside, and obviously some of them had disabilities. And then I'm like, who's running this?
Yeah.
But there was a Cadillac with a fucking U-Haul trailer attached to it. U-Haul trailer, a big one now,
Cadillac.
a Cadillac. And long story short, I get the lady, and she was like, "Oh no, I had a home, it's like an assisted living home, whatever, in New Orleans, and we evacuated." I said, "How'd you get them out?" She said, "I hauled them in the back of U-Haul trailer." Well, that's bad enough. There's no AC or nothing, right? But it's usually, I'm kind of thinking, well, you had to get out of New Orleans, whatever. But I started talking to the ones who more were, I was wondering about the funding. Do they have food? The whole 9 yards. Turned out this bitch was taking these motherfuckers around in a U-Haul trailer to all the different sign-up sites, like the FEMA sign-up sites for the money, and getting their checks issued in their name, take it to the bank and take it and keep the money.
My God. That's
but that's the nursing home shit. It's so unfortunate, so bad. And I'm dealing this time of my life, whatever stuff, and it just scares you to death.
Yeah.
It really scares me because I think about the fucking cases I worked in these places.
Oh yeah. And do your research, and I'm sure all our listeners would, but
yeah. Well, all right. So the whole world is not political, but I got to tell y'all the story. The world is full of fucking dumbasses, and the reason, like Trump shooter, I've never said his name other than one time because I don't give any credence to him, right? Because copycat motherfuckers. And guess what happened? Did you hear about the story out of Florida?
I don't know.
All right. Well, authorities arrested and charged a man in Florida over social media threats against former President Donald Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator
I have
J.D.
not heard
Vance.
this.
So check this out. Michael M. Wiseman is a fucking idiot, and he was arrested Friday on charges of written threats to kill, according to a statement from the Jupiter Police Department in Florida. Now,
Home of Tiger Woods.
Right? There you go. After investigating the reports and the suspect's Facebook account, JPD detectives found that Wiseman had made multiple threats against Trump and Vance, who earlier this week became the Republican nominees for president and vice president, respectively. Threats were also made concerning bodily harms to members of the Trump and Vance families. Right? Police did not provide further details about Wiseman. I'll just go ahead and sum it up for you. He's a dumbass. But and Wiseman's lawyer declined to comment. But the arrest comes less than a week after the assassination attempt on Trump. We well know about that. But police in Jupiter said they coordinate their investigation of Wiseman with the Secret Service and the Palm Beach County State's Attorney's Office. Police said they were initially alerted to threats through multiple online crime tips, as well as residents who expressed their concern in person. And a spokesperson for the Secret Service did not respond. But we know about Trump getting shot and all that. Threats against members of Congress increased last year, according to the figures from the U.S. Capitol Police, and they investigated over 8,008 cases involving potential threats just in 2023. Can you believe that? That's a jump from 5,206 in 2018.
Wow.
But you can go in there and I always tell you, you don't have to really worry about the ones who make the threats. Right?
It's the ones who don't.
So they don't.
Right.
And that's been proven time and time again.
Yeah, it's
but fuck him. Fuck him. I wouldn't care if it was Trump and
doesn't matter who it is.
And that guy, or Biden and Harris. What the fuck? Why don't you get a fucking hobby?
Yeah.
You do something with your life besides threading political figures.
Yeah, stupid. Interesting, just maybe a little side fact here, but I got curious about this weekend. You know how tall Barron Trump is?
I don't know. He's tall, right?
6'9".
What?
6'9", son. Yes.
Golly.
That sucker's tall. And Eric Trump is
he's tall.
6'5".
He's tall.
I didn't realize that. Just about everybody in Trump's family is Trump,
except for Don Jr.
himself and Don Jr. are the shortest, and they're both around 6 feet. Everybody else in that family is 6'9", man, and he looks it. He's very gangly, I guess, just long.
He should be dunking basketball somewhere.
Yeah, well, he's dunking dollar bills.
He's
dunking dollar bills. That's it. He's dunking buildings. But blew my mind. I got curious about that because I saw a picture of him standing next to all his siblings and Trump, and he just towered. And I'm like, man, I know Eric Trump's tall. So, 6'9", man. Some of Shaq's size. And he's only a senior in high school. He might hit another one.
Right.
So he might be the first 7 foot. He is the tallest sibling of a president in history.
Sibling or child.
Child. So anyway, there's your little fun fact for a Wednesday.
Hey, y'all. Changing my wardrobe from summer to fall, it's never easy. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore. Ensure my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. And there's nothing easier than going to Quince and choosing these high-quality items, like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, and I love that. I got the stainless steel Link Apple Watch band for $59.90. It's heavy duty, it's awesome, and it's like $100 less than I could find anywhere else. And I also got a 100% organic cotton fisherman quarter zip up sweater. The color is alabaster. Man, I can't wait to wear that this fall. And Cindy got the Mongolian cashmere boat neck sweater in heather gray. And I'm telling you, these are classic pieces at a fraction of the price. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/RLRC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/RLRC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/RLRC. You'll thank me later.
Now we're going to go to, how about we go to Bangkok? Thailand. 6 people were found dead.
I always love that name.
Bangkok. 6 people were found dead in a luxury hotel Tuesday. This past Tuesday, authorities in Thailand said that cyanide poisoning was likely the cause of the death of those 6 people whose bodies were discovered in a hotel room in central Bangkok. One of the dead is suspected to have been the killer per Thai police. Cyanide was discovered in mugs and teacups in the hotel room. Chief of Police Forensic Office, Terong Phupan, told reporters at a press conference, adding that one of the blood samples collected from a male victim had traces of cyanide. And y'all, I'm not making fun of accents here. Right. I'm trying to pronounce it. Right. The room had been locked from the inside, but the back door remained unlocked, and the deputy of police commissioners told reporters that authorities said the incident was linked to a personal matter, saying it was not related to organized crime. Interviews carried out by police indicated it had been over a dispute about debt. One of the relatives said that one of the deceased was an investment agent and all the deceased invested, but the business was not going as expected. They made an appointment to discuss the matter in Thailand, and 3 men and 3 women were found dead. 2 of those individuals were confirmed as Vietnamese Americans and a married couple. 4 of the victims were Vietnamese nationals. Thai police dismissed a previously suspected involvement of a seventh person who was at the hotel prior to the discovery of the bodies, and hotel staff found the bodies in the 5th floor of Bangkok's Grand Hyatt Hotel after the guests missed their checkout time by more than 24 hours. They let them hang in there for 24 hours after?
the room or nothing.
Man, 30 minutes later, I got people banging on my door.
No. 30 minutes before.
Yeah. That's even more frustrating.
You tell the front desk, you're like, diamond member and shit, I get late checkouts. And I say, 1 o'clock checkout, do not let them come to my room.
Right.
Fucking 10:59.
Yep.
Housekeeping. I'm like, go away, motherfucker.
Look, every time I see a story about Thailand, you know what I think of? On Meet the Parents when Ben Stiller's like,
yeah.
The wife's like, Jack doesn't talk Thai. Oh, Jack talks Thai well. I talk Thai.
Well, hate it for those people that got poisoned.
Yeah.
That'd be a shitty way to go. And if you get poisoned, if you lucky enough, you can get to a hospital, but you wouldn't want to go to this hospital I'm about to tell you about. At least
tell me about it.
So police in Oregon say a suspect is dead after opening fire in a hospital in downtown Portland Saturday. It was a shooting that left one person dead and another injured. Now, I guess if you're going to get shot, you want to get shot in a hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the place for it to happen.
A fucking dangerous place to stay. When I was a correctional officer, and Charity Hospital was still open, they had an inmate that saved up all his pills, and they weren't checking him, and he OD'd on him. And I had to ride the ambulance and all that bullshit. And you talk about Charity Hospital on a fucking Saturday night, they were putting security guards, putting people's heads through the fucking wall, and people coming in with gunshots. You know, at that time, that was considered the #1 trauma ER in the world.
Really?
Because they had so many shootings every night, so many shootings and stabbings and whatever.
Do it over and over again, you become an expert.
Right? So anyway, hospitals are dangerous places. I hate a fucking hospital, by the way. But not the people, but just the hospitals. But authorities say the suspect who fled Legacy Good Samaritan Medical Center after the shooting was stopped in a vehicle by police in Gresham, just east of Portland. He was shot and killed after officers opened a fire. Right, that's according to the Portland police. Police responded to the facility around 11 a.m. local time after reports of a person with a gun inside the hospital. This was Sergeant Kevin Allen said at a Saturday afternoon news conference. When officers responded, they were told a person had opened fire inside the hospital. A witness told officers the suspected shooter had already left the hospital. Bobby Smallwood, a security guard at Legacy Good Samaritan Medical Center, was shot and killed during the incident. That's crazy. Another unnamed staff member was injured and is in stable condition, but no patients were hurt during the shooting. A Fred Meyer grocery store nearby was evacuated and searched by police as part of an intensive search for the suspect. Officers later located the suspect and stopped the vehicle he was in. And during the incident, shots were fired by police. The suspect is deceased and no officers were injured, according to Portland Police Department. A statement from Portland Police Saturday night said 3 officers used deadly force in the incident and their identities would be made public within 15 days, barring any security threats. The hospital, which was put on lockdown after the incident, lifted its shelter-in-place directive around 4:15 p.m. Suspect hadn't been named yet. And, of course, the hospital came out and, saying their hearts go out to the security guard and the staff members and all that.
Yeah.
To the craziness.
Look, there's a lot of obvious emotion that takes place at hospitals. And then even here locally, I know in the Baton Rouge area with Our Lady of the Lake, they were having time there with people getting carjacked in the parking garage.
Absolutely true.
It's happening all the time.
Listen to this. So when I was in the hospital, I was in the Lady like 8 nights, right? And the first night I was in the emergency room, and it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning before they got me a room upstairs. And when they were getting ready to move me to my room upstairs, Cindy was there with me, right? My wife. And she says, I'm going to go get my car and move it around. And the nurse said, do not go get your car and move it around.
No kidding.
Go through the hospital. She said, I can't tell you how many people that had to leave to go move their vehicles or whatever, and leave and come back in with a gunshot wound or a stabbing.
No
Can you believe
way.
that?
Yeah,
and that's the
man.
best hospital in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And but you think about this. It's kind of like going to a lawyer. Maybe not all lawyers, but there's no fucking good reason to go to the hospital unless you're having a baby born.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's no good reason. And I ain't going back.
And security, security at these hospitals. My wife works at a hospital. It continues to get better and better.
Yeah.
But you can't.
They got it.
You can't cover everything.
They got it now. You got to go through the metal detector, and they scan your driver's license, they print your photo out, put it on your tag, on your thing, even to go see. And unfortunately, this past year I've been in the hospital. I was in the hospital, but I had to go stay with family members in the hospital so many times. And so I know the security protocols well, but I guess people, I don't know. It's just
when you were in the hospital, what was your favorite? What was your favorite food, or did you eat?
I don't even remember
any of the hospital food. Some people like that hospital food.
I don't think it was that bad. They brought it every day and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was so sick that I don't even remember. I can't remember. I can't remember. I just know it was bland as fuck.
Really?
I like my hot sauce.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing, guaranteed. Just about the time you finally nod off,
Here they come.
food service, and then by the time you nod off again, oh, food service picking up your tray, and then or nodding off again, housekeeping, and come in when
take your blood pressure
blinds or something. Then, that's without doubt. The nurses and the doctors, and I had like 6 doctors at one point, man. Hey, man, you ain't going to the hospital to rest.
Yeah.
But for 3 days, it didn't matter to me because I was literally dying.
Yeah.
They were keeping me alive. But
wow.
I ain't going back.
Nope.
The doctor, one of the doctors, she was like, "Oh, I want you to come back and see some whatever." And I'm just looking at her, right? I'm getting ready to check out, and she's like the house doctor, the one that is like the general doctor on the floor. Now I had the stomach doctor, I had the infectious diseases doctor, I had this, especially until they find out what it was,
right?
And then so I had to see this lady every day. And she was like, "Oh, well, your blood work said such and such. Everything else is clean bill, but you have a predisposition for whatever." And I'm just looking at her. She's like, "I'd like you to come back in and da da da." I was like, "Okay." She said, "You're not coming over." I said, "No, I'm not."
If I'm being honest,
I'm not.
That's awesome.
Never coming back with this motherfucker.
Hold your breath and ask for belief.
If I come back, I'm gonna have bones sticking out of my legs or some shit like that. Right. The rest of it, I'm just gonna ride it out.
That's it.
Anyway.
All right. Well, any final thoughts?
I hope nobody's in the hospital. If you are in the hospital, let me take a second. I get messages from a lot of lifers who are actually very, very sick. They listen to us, and some of them are dying. Some of them know they're dying. Some of them are in cancer therapy and different things. And we love y'all. And hopefully you crack a smile with us, and maybe we brighten your day a little bit.
Yeah,
we hope
that's right.
Hope you get better.
That's right. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton,
your host of Real Life, Real Crime Daily. Peace.